In 3, 2, 1. Yo, everyone. Welcome to Filmmaker Mike and the boys. This is Filmmaker Mike. Joining me tonight is Sequestered Jester.
Hey, everybody.
Pinhead.
What's up, my babies?
And Kuya.
Yeah.
Respect, buddy.
Should I say Michael Jordan, who's still participating in the podcast, despite
this is my flu game, guys.
It sure
Watch
is,
out.
and I can't wait to see how you perform on this one.
Watch out.
And that's why when you text 10 minutes before we were supposed to start, you're like, fuck it, I'm in. Like, let's do it.
Yeah,
live.
fuck it, we'll do it like
sure? Like, okay.
I knew he couldn't resist.
I have to go on record and say, because of this, Kuya is one of the fucking biggest OGs of all time. Like, this is some real gangster shit.
What?
Like, this is some gangster shit because to come in here.
Oh, please.
Okay. I know you have a biased Jester because you can't stand him, but some of us actually like Kuya around here, and some of the listeners actually like Kuya too.
Oh, really?
So sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see how it is.
Right.
So guys.
This is our Wonder Woman 1984 spoiler-filled movie review. So I'm gonna kick it off with some info here on the film. The runtime is 2 hours 31 minutes, rated PG-13. Of course, this was released on December 25th, 2020, on HBO Max, and of course, in theaters that are open right now. Approximately 2,000 theaters are open across the country, with more opening fairly soon. At least from Cinemark, I saw them do an announcement, and they've got more screens opening. If I'm not mistaken, there is around 3,000 to 4,000 screens total. So, but
speaking of Cinemark and being famous, Mike, man, jeez.
Yes, please inform us on what happened.
Oh yeah,
and make sure to give the shout out. Make sure to give the shout out to Cinemark too.
Please rub it in our faces, man. Come on.
Update the listeners, please.
Yeah. So, if you guys listened to our first episode of 2021 last week, we did talk about going to. We booked a private screening for 13 people to see Wonder Woman 1984 on the big screen. So that was January 2nd, and then. I usually like to record more video and do stuff with it on TikTok. So I just got a shot of some of us walking in. I got a picture of Julie holding the cool, multicolored, rainbow colored Wonder Woman popcorn tin, collector's tin. And then I took a picture of the popcorn bucket and the soda cup. And then I just made a quick TikTok of it. And I tweeted, we had a blast at last night's hashtag Wonder Woman 84 private watch party. I tagged Cinemark. Seeing it on the big screen was so worth it. The magic of the movie theater. I tagged Hans Zimmer. His score is beautiful. Bring on hashtag Wonder Woman 3. And then I tagged Patty Jenkins. I tagged Gal Gadot, WB Pictures, Wonder Woman Film, DC Comics, and Jason Kyler. And then lo and behold, a few days later, I opened Twitter. And I'm like, why do I have a bunch of likes? And I was like, who retweeted this? And Patty Jenkins retweeted that TikTok video. And she even replied and she said, wonderful to hear and see. Thank you. I love that some are getting to see it this way. So I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So I'm currently since she retweeted that TikTok video, it has 646 likes. 30 retweets and then a bunch of replies from other fans as well.
Dang.
And then a few days later, I look on Instagram on Cinemark, and they screenshot that tweet that with a TikTok video, and you can see Julie in the picture holding the Wonder Woman popcorn tin bucket. And I replied and I told them, hey, that's my tweet, and they also shared it on their Facebook. So a friend of mine also tagged me, and he was like, "Can I get an autograph?" I'm like, Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Cinemark. Where's our sponsor? I mean, we've been really
I
talking
know
you
this is
guys
our
up.
third private watch party. We started doing private watch parties before it was cool.
They were popular. Yeah, we did it before it was the cool fucking thing to do. Cinemark, we love you. Come on.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we'd love to get a sponsorship, and who knows,
Something.
do a collab or something.
Yeah.
Hell
we could do
yeah.
that.
But yeah, no, really impressive. So I did mention when that screening started, the picture was glitchy, and it's a good thing that I saw the film twice. I was like, this is not how the movie goes. So I
Oh, yeah.
rushed out and spoke to the manager up front and was like, hey, we've got some picture problems in our movie. And he was like, what screen? I told him 14. So, and that's why it took a while. They stopped the film, they played it, it was still glitchy. So, but they fixed it within under 10 minutes, which is great.
Oh yeah.
And
They were
after
cool
that,
about it
they didn't
too.
have any issues whatsoever. So
Yeah.
Did they stop the movie or did they just let it keep going?
No. They so that when Mike went down to take care of it, because you were or no, you weren't there.
No,
I thought for effects that it was like Patty Jenkins, doing her 1984 VHS tape style. But Mike obviously
that's why
knew,
it's
'cause I see
good
him.
that he saw it.
Oh no, he was bolting down the stairs. I'm like, I
That's
would have
not
waited
good.
30 minutes and then
This
been
is
like,
not
hey,
right.
there's a problem over here. Yeah. So
Like,
he took care of it. And then what they did was they kept restarting it, and then whatever. I think they restarted it like 3-4 times, and then they fixed it. So they took care of it.
So you actually didn't miss anything then?
No.
No, not at all.
Okay, that because when he said that, I was like, did you guys miss shit? 'Cause for you especially, Jester, because
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
know.
see it. That was
No.
my main focus. So okay.
No, like I
So
said, they took good care of it.
so
There.
they did put it to a point where you didn't miss anything then.
Yeah,
No,
no,
they
they
restarted it. Yeah, they restarted
Okay,
it.
that's cool. That's awesome. See, that's why Cinemark is on this shit. And I say that because I had a theater experience back in my hometown in shithole Fresno, California, where they told it was solo. And I'm like, this is way too dark. There's no reason why it should be this dark. And I was proven right watching it again on Disney Plus. And the guy told me, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
And I told him, well, it might be a problem if I bust your teeth out of your mouth. And I walked away.
There you go. That's
Like
kinda...
that kind of attitude is nonsensical to me. And that's why I like Cinemark, because they will go above and beyond the call to actually make sure your visit there is the best you can have. So
they've been doing good.
that's
with
why
this,
I'm enjoying
with
these
all
watch
this.
parties. I really wish I could have seen Wonder Woman 84 with you guys.
Well, don't worry, baby. We'll do another one.
Yeah, we'll do more.
Me and you definitely got to hold hands at Dune. So.
Oh, you know we are, man.
Even if
I'll
your
straight up
wife is
spoon
there,
you.
I don't give a damn. I'm still holding your hand.
I'll wear 3
I might
masks.
even hold
and
her
I'll just
hand
spoon
too.
you. There you go.
Hey, that's all right.
I'll get the cuddle fest going.
But yeah, shout out to Patty Jenkins as well for replying to my tweet. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god.
that like I'm jealous because I love Patty. Like the fact that she responded to you and like took time out of we're sure is a very busy schedule right now to reply to you is phenomenal to me. And it further proves not just your Jedi fucking powers that you have, but it's a further testament to what Patty Jenkins is as a not just a filmmaker, but as a human being, that she actually acknowledges the fans, unlike certain people in certain groups. So I really appreciate and respect her for that. The fact that she acknowledged a fan, it makes me respect and love her even more.
Right. Yeah, because
So,
I mean,
this
I'm
is
sure
awesome.
like I tagged her, I tagged Gal Gadot. I mean, if you think Patty Jenkins gets tagged a lot, I mean, imagine Gal Gadot. But I just figured,
Yeah, exactly.
I always tag actors. Like if I see a movie, I always tag them and just hope that at least they see it. But the fact that I mean, I'm sure they probably see it, or maybe they don't. Whatever. Or if unless they have someone, But for the most part, that's what social media has done. I think that's the power of social media. It's made not just celebrities, but people like directors, filmmakers, you name it, people of note who you want to follow and look, or you look up to, more accessible, where you can have maybe not a conversation, but the fact that, hey, they saw what you did, or they saw that you liked their film, that's pretty special. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome to me, and that's why I said I respect her even more now, because she didn't have to do that. She could have just been like, but she actually acknowledged it and respected the fact that you respected the film and enjoyed it.
right.
That is amazing to me, because not every celebrity does that. Most of them, especially in the Marvel camp, just go, fuck them.
Directors need love too, baby.
Right.
So I'm very impressed with her, and this kind of, not to be biased, but it kind of changes my ideal toward where we're going with this review, because now I've seen it 9 times. I talked about, I've seen it more than Captain Marvel. Now, to date, I've seen it 9 times.
Wow, look at you.
Well, I love Patty Jenkins. I love her. I think that when we're going to get into this as we go into this review, but I think people are misunderstanding certain aspects of this film. Yes, it is not a masterpiece. There are some, when we're going to get into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're going to talk about critical points that debunk this fact that this movie is worse than Green Lantern and it's worse than Daredevil. That's nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's absolute nonsense to me. That's just being an absolute vitriolic hater.
Right. So I'm going to read the description real quick of the movie. So it says here, fast forward to the 1980s as Wonder Woman's next big screen adventure finds her facing 2 all-new foes, Max Lord and the Cheetah. With director Patty Jenkins back at the helm and Gal Gadot returning in the title role, Wonder Woman 1984 is Warner Brothers Pictures follow-up to the DC superheroes' first outing, 2017's record-breaking Wonder Woman, which took in $822 million at the worldwide box office. The film also stars Chris Pine as Steve Trevor, Kristen Wiig as the Cheetah, Pedro Pascal as Max Lord, Robin Wright as Antiope, and Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta. So, yeah, I saw it. I mentioned it in the last episode. I saw it Christmas Day. A little bit distracted, but for the most part, I was watching it. I liked it. I saw it a second time. I still liked it. Trying to see what other people were like complaining and whining and crying about. And then, of course, we got to see it on the big screen, and I loved it even more because, again, they made this movie, of course, pre-pandemic, with the audience and the fans in mind, to see this on the big screen first, and it's the way to go. I mean, if it's possible for you to see a movie in the theater, or you feel safe enough, which I gotta admit, again, Cinemark, they're doing well. I mean, the theater was very clean. They're one of those cinema safe like theaters. That's where they're advertising. If it's a cinema safe, then it's they keep it sanitized. And of course, it's not 100% guarantee that you can't get sick, but they do their best to sanitize and clean everything. So yeah, I loved it on the big screen. I enjoyed it seeing, and that's why I think I may have mentioned it last episode as well. How many people saw this movie at home on HBO Max and were easily, like, a lot of people I saw were like, oh, I fell asleep, or I was distracted, or how many people look at their phone just because they got distracted or they get bored. But if you paid for a movie on the movie theater, I mean, yeah, you hear some people walk out, or but for the most part, you'll sit through it and watch it and just be focused on that big ass screen and just actually listen and pay attention to what's going on. So
not to interrupt you.
You go ahead.
But I know that feeling for the first time, maybe. But as I said, I saw it 9 times, and none of those times were on the big screen. And each time I've never fallen asleep. Captain Marvel, however, which I only saw once, not so much.
Well, the only movie I've fallen asleep to in the theaters was Into the Woods with Chris Pine as well. But
Nice.
that's because that movie just dragged on. Oh my gosh.
I don't think I've ever fallen asleep to a movie ever. In the
And-
theater.
in the theaters. I was gonna say.
Like,
I was-
yeah, no, in the theater, maybe Resident Evil Extinction.
Mike, I told you this, right? I told you this when Attack of the Clones came out. I was working a graveyard shift at a casino, and what happened was like I work graveyard shift, so like, oh, let's just watch this movie. I just want to watch it, by myself or whatever. So there's like probably 3 or 4 other people beside me, like like watching Attack of the Clones early in the morning for. So to be honest with you, the first time I saw it, I fell asleep like halfway through. The only time I woke up is when fucking Yoda came out walking around, like gingerly walking like this, right?
Yeah.
And then I like half asleep. I just saw Yoda. I was like, yeah, Yoda, kick his ass. And then like everybody else was cheering and all that shit. And then like
That's what woke you up. Everybody going, oh.
No, and like I just like fell asleep again. Like I had to watch it with Mike again just because like I was dead tired, but I wanted to watch it. I was like, yeah.
Oh, you get some slack on that one because you were working with graveyard.
Yeah, it was graveyard.
Yeah. You get some slack on that.
Yeah,
That's
and
not-
that's
No,
and
like,
that-
but yeah, but that was it was just so dragging at that point for me. Like I was just like, I want to hear all of these stories, but I'm just like, I want to see some action, please see.
Yeah.
I want to see some action. Like the first one had pod races. Like, give me something.
Well, you got a monologuing of I don't like sand. It's cool
I
and
know.
rough and
That was the
it's
one.
everywhere.
You got a chase
Yeah.
scene of Obi-Wan jumping out the fucking window like
Well, that was pretty cool.
That
Yeah,
was awesome.
5,000
And
feet above ground.
that scene, and I'll admit, when I saw that, I was, because this was back when I was still I got stoned during that thing, and I was like, that was one of the best sequences that I ever seen at that point when I was watching a movie. Of course, I was a teenager then,
And then
so I didn't know much better, but it was a fun sequence, that jumping out of the window, the whole
Yeah.
like
And then,
scene-
you clearly see how psychotic Anakin was.
and
Just
that's
be like,
and I'm glad you bring that point up, because no matter what you say about the prequel trilogy, there's redeemable qualities in each of them.
Yeah.
And that leads us to where we are with Wonder Woman 84.
Ooh,
Yes.
good segue.
For all of you who are trashing it with vitriolic hatred and toxicity,
Tell 'em.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to
I'm
me.
sorry, but there are redeemable. You even know there are redeemable qualities in this film. It is not a complete work of trash. So stop it. Stop it. Bad boy. Bad. Go home. Your cages are clean. Go home.
Yeah, by the way, so yeah, we are going full spoiler. So yeah, when the movie kicks off,
You're damn right.
you get the 80s vibe. You're seeing Wonder Woman, who is clearly still being a superhero. She's helping people out, she's saving people. And in the title, Wonder Woman 1984, Patty Jenkins has again admitted and clearly stated her love for Richard Donner's Superman, 1978, the Superman the movie. So she takes a lot of inspiration from that in this film. And again, like we talked about it last week, but you see right at the beginning, the violence there's some violence in it, yes, but it's in a way it's toned down. It's nothing. There's nothing extremely like there's nothing bloody or overly like gratuitous as far as
grotesque,
violence.
Yeah.
It's very kid friendly. I mean, it is a PG-13 film, but in our audience, like when we did a private screening, we had a 6-year-old little girl there because one of my friends, her sister's boyfriend brought her their daughter, a 6-year-old kid, and she was excited to see it. And that's the thing I think a lot of us forget about these movies, that
Exactly.
yes, as adults we're overly critical and we're like analyzing everything, but we forget that the audience for this movie as well is little kids. So for that
And
little
just-
girl, she absolutely enjoyed the film. She loves Wonder Woman. You know?
Exactly. And that's the question I was going to ask you, just to set a precedent. What did she feel about it? She absolutely enjoyed it.
Yeah, she loved it.
And I'm just going to put this out there as we go into the spoiler discussion. For all of you with the, like I said, with the vitriolic toxic toxicity, and all of you are out there and bashing it, step back and take into account there's little girls out there that look up to her and might actually enjoy this. And when you go on your tirades and say that it's absolute garbage, in a way, not completely, you're undermining 6-year-old girls, little girls who look up to this. And that's an issue. You really need to take a step back and look at this movie and think, okay, where are we going with this film? That's why I say every time people trash this and they can go on and on and on, please, I'm begging you, when it comes time, show me that same fucking energy with Black Widow. You cowards won't do it. I guarantee you won't do it.
When there's plot holes.
Even if it has even worse flaws than Wonder Woman 84, you fuckwits won't do it because you suck the lollipop of Marvel.
It tastes good.
Right.
It's strawberry flavored.
Oh yeah, it's strawberry, it's cheesecake, terrific flavor. Like it's great. You know, it's Rocky Road. That's great.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's hypocrisy.
Just
It's
got
hypocrisy.
just the bad vibes that DC's gotten since what was it, Green Lantern that it started?
No, because after we've had hits and misses.
That's right.
Right.
This started with Batman v Superman.
Mm.
You could
No.
say it started with the Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'd go with
But
Man of
there
Steel.
was still
Yeah.
there was still a contention that defended it to the day. When Batman v Superman came out, however, there was this huge fucking backdraft of people going, Zack Snyder's a hack, and we don't like it, and
Yes,
it's
we know.
garbage, and he can't. Okay, fine. He can't draw feet. And then we got into Suicide Squad.
Oh,
And by the
gosh, man.
time we got to that, it doesn't matter. People didn't give it a chance because of
I gave it a shot.
Superman. No one gave it a chance.
I watched it twice and I
You,
suffered.
but I'm not talking about you. I'm
No,
talking
I know.
about I'm talking about the toxic, nonsensical Marvel fanboys.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is at the end of the day. The Marvel fanboys go,
Yeah, because I think
like DC.
that if everybody gave their honest truth, there would be some things that they liked about Aquaman movie. There was things that I enjoyed, and then there was things that were like kind of lame. And then they would say, well, Wonder Woman's actually a pretty good movie. But yeah, it had its flaws too. And then I wouldn't say that any of the DC movies have been extremely rough to watch for me other than Green Lantern. And that was only because of the lack of like a villain. And I say that, kind of loosely because there was a comic book villain in that, but I don't think it was executed wisely. But with that said, I wanted to hear Kuya's opinion on the mall scene. I know we like lightly discussed it on the last podcast that we did, and I wanted to hear Kuya's opinion.
I'm actually interested on the mall scene too because
it's very 80s. I love the fact that like they're going through like going through like a jewelry store, and then right we know your real stuff is right behind there. And and the fact that Diana wants to remain anonymous and takes out all of the
surveillance cameras.
cameras with her little helmet, or tiara, whatever.
Yeah.
and like she's playing around, and then like, the little girl was there also, like and it's like all that stuff. It's really cute. It's very cute to see. She was very non-aggressive when it comes to these guys. Like, I was surprised, like when they were fighting, right?
Right.
I guess they didn't seem like they didn't seem like a very highly aggressive uh people, not like the ones that they that she's seen in the first movie or in
Yeah,
Justice
they
League or
weren't
whatever. So
to
It
her.
was just
They
the
weren't
one
a
guy.
full-fledged threat. Like they weren't.
yeah,
They weren't that kind of threat that got her into like okay
yeah.
Wonder Woman mode. Like she was
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, obviously,
The,
but
the
she didn't get into full-fledged Wonder Woman mode on there because we're
the
not talking about Steppenwolf here. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
The one thing that my wife and I appreciated was, one, the colors of the uniform for Diana, spot on for the early '80s Wonder Woman.
Right.
Fucking
Okay.
spot on.
Right.
Even the high heel little booty things. That was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Um, and then man, her smile is just amazing. It's just like
Like
it's crazy. Like you're looking at somebody, and then all of a sudden she just goes like, "Oh, hey." And I was
that,
like, "Oh,
I will agree, she embodies the character so well.
yeah."
And that's one of the things that
And the fact that she uses the lasso now instead of
Yep.
the sword and
Magic
That's
lasso
that's
that can
Yeah.
do almost anything that people have a
because
problem with.
it's magic.
but
Hey man, I don't care what anybody says. Swinging off lightning is just like that was so cool.
it's just
Like
I like the fact that Gal Gadot in this movie went fuck it and just embraced Wonder Woman. See, this is why I'm having a problem because you're like, oh, she embraced Wonder Woman and really sold it in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's some parts in here where I'm a black heart. I don't care about most people, except for the people in this group right here, my close knit friends. But there's moments in there where she makes you break down and critically think. And this is a Patty Jenkins, once again. This is a Patty Jenkins director. This is her personal preference. This is where she pushed Gal to go to this point.
Yep.
Because you can have the best actor in the world, but if you don't have that director who is putting that vision in their mind, it doesn't matter. The whole production shuts down. And Patty
Yeah.
Jenkins looked inward to her and trusted her from what she did with the first film and let her do what she needed to do. And that made there's some really poignant, heartbreaking moments in this film.
Yep.
And
This
if
is-
you have no soul whatsoever, it won't matter to you.
This is where I
It
agree
won't
with you
because
on
you
the-
won't be moved by it. And this is coming from a person whose soul has almost completely gone from his body. So that means if you hated that, you're a fucking serial killer sociopath because there's no other way you can go, it was okay. You know? Or even the other extreme where you go, that shit sucked. It was garbage. That's your bias
Mhm.
toward DC.
Yeah. Here's the other thing
Because
too.
I've never, before you, not to interrupt you, Jester,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
before you go with your point, I've never felt that in a Marvel film as impactful as what Patty Jenkins did, especially toward that last act that I'm talking about, where she had to sacrifice the one person she loved. I've never, ever felt that in a Marvel film. Not once.
I've seen
Not
it.
even,
I've
not.
seen it. I've
I
seen it
got
once.
close. I got close with the little girl missing her daddy. You almost got me there, but it didn't hit me as hard as what they did with this movie. But this movie sucks.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that I don't consider Gal Gadot as a good actress.
She's
And
not. I'll agree with you.
That's where I kind of applaud Patty as a director, because she got the best out of all her actors,
Exactly.
including Gal. And like,
She
I
pushed Gal
guarantee
pretty
you,
hard.
yeah, and I guarantee
did.
you, Gal's walking away with some really good advice for future movies. And if she continues to act the way she did in Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84, I think that she has quite the future ahead of her. And Patty just nailed it. She was able to get everything out of Gal that she needed for this movie, and to tug on all of our heartstrings at least a little bit.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Patty Jenkins, you don't like the movie. Fine, you despise the fucking movie. You cannot take away from the talent that is Patty Jenkins. She had to pull, and I'm sorry, Gal, I really am, but she pulled one of the most heartwarming, heartfelt performances out of a block of plank. Okay? Because that's what Gal Gadot is. She's a fucking plank actor before this.
Yeah, exactly.
When you get the right writers, when you get the right director like Patty Jenkins, who puts her heart and soul into her films, like she's done with everything, even if you don't like them, every film she has done to date, she put her heart, her soul, and her passion into it. She drags performances out of people that are phenomenal. You can go, Monster is a perfect example. Charlize Theron was not a bad actress, but she was a ho-hum actress. But thanks to Patty Jenkins, when Monster came along, she pulled out an Oscar-winning performance out of her. That's the power of Patty Jenkins. That's what she can do, because she is talented, because she knows character beats. She knows when to stop. She knows when to pull back. She knows when to push forward. She knows when to pull every aspect out of an actor that she can possibly pull. Even if you don't think you have the talent, she'll pull it out of you. And she makes great performances. Even in the movies you hate, like Wonder Woman 84, there are great performances in there, and not even the worst toxic fanboys can deny that.
Right. I think we already see that Gal Gadot can act in the first Wonder Woman movie, with that story of her being the fish out of water when she's in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's seeing everything for the first time. And then when you see her react to like, oh baby, like she's like rushing to it, like
Yeah.
she wants this, and the mom's like, what the fuck? Like, and then just like the ice, the first time trying ice cream. And she's like, you should be proud, like, that's Wonder Woman. And that's Diana Prince, like, and that's why I like what they did here. They flipped that fish out of water storyline with now bringing Chris Pine back, of course, through a magic wishing rock made out of citrine or whatever that is. Like with the magic lasso. And again, I want to go back to that little girl who Wonder Woman saves. Well, she saves two little girls, but the little girl that like even winks at her when Wonder Woman tells her like just like keep it a secret or whatever. That's the audience. That's a huge part of the audience. It's little girls, little boys, watching this movie and just seeing this powerful like superhero and just like doing good. And like I love that when she gets the robbers guns, and she's like, I hate guns, and she just crushes them.
Right? Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That was really cool. Yeah. And speaking of the CGI, which a lot of people had a problem with, here's a hot take. I think the CGI in Wonder Woman 1984 was way better in the CGI of The Mandalorian season 2 finale when we see Luke Skywalker, young de-aged Luke Skywalker.
Oh,
And
Well, there was no
you know
DH.
why?
Oh,
Because
there was.
that was a close-up. That was a close-up, and I could tell. I mean, it's way better. The de-aging of Mark Hamill is way better than what we saw of Carrie Fisher in Rogue One at the end of Rogue One. It's improved because, again, that was 2016. Mandalorian season 2 is 4 years later, 2020. So it's improved, but it's not perfect yet.
No, it's not.
But
it's not especially when you consider that it's only a step above the Tron Legacy de-aging.
right,
And that's a sad point considering how long ago Tron Legacy came out.
Right. But then, with as far as the Mandalorian season 2 finale, spoilers for that one as well, it's easier to let go of that because of what they did and how they introduced the character. It's
because
all
it's
about
Luke
the story.
Skywalker, fucking like
Not
everybody
only
loves Luke.
that, it's because, like I said, it's Disney. And Disney gets a pass.
No, not with
Wait.
that one.
Yeah, they do,
No,
because
they did not get a pass with the sequels. Hold on. No, they didn't get a pass with the sequels.
I'm talking
they
about
worked really
the
hard on.
Mandalorian.
I know you are, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The
I think
Mandalorian was a good.
That's why they succeed, because they've earned it with the Mandalorian.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've earned
And
it.
that's what I'm
for sure.
talking about. They got a pass with that.
Right. But
Wonder Woman 84 hasn't got a pass.
Right, with the CGI.
So you tell me.
With the CGI for Wonder Woman 1984, most of it is far away shots, and when she's using her magic lasso, I'm like, I don't get it. It's not that bad. It's not, and as if I'm not even a special effects guy, so I couldn't tell you how that, how be able to compose a shot or do all this shit.
Mike,
so much experts here.
Mike,
what's up?
It's a fucking magic lasso.
It is a magic lasso.
It can do whatever the fuck it wants.
And it can extend as far as she wants it, or as far as the story needs it to extend. Our character was molded out of clay and into life from Zeus. And when she's
no one complains about that.
At the beginning of the movie, she was like 8 years old and she was competing against 18-year-old women.
Yeah.
And she was destroying them.
On Themyscira,
Okay.
that's right.
Here, look, there's only 2 points in that movie where the CGI takes me out. Number 1, her running, like this, like super fast, like she's floating on the ground during the tank chase when they're in Dubai or whatever. And then the
Egypt.
the de-aging of Pedro Pascal's character at the end. At the end. It was kind of sloppy.
Really?
Those to me, it was sloppy. It was Luke Skywalker level sloppy. You know what I mean?
Luke Skywalker's the worst. For
me, that's what I'm talking about. It's still
to me. No, go ahead, Chester.
Yeah, no. So I'm just saying, to me, that's what took me out. I mean, there was a couple other moments that you may be like, oh, if you're gonna nitpick, but really there was nothing to really poke at. It was 2 moments, very short, nothing to really complain about. I mean, if you're just butthurt about the movie, I could see you hardcore nitpicking everything. But the story is what kept me in, to be honest.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what kept me in. And those are 2 completely different complaints than what I had, because my major complaint, and I know everybody's doing it, but they're doing it for other reasons. Cheetah was shit. Let's get it out there. Cheetah was absolute shit. She was shit. It's not just the CGI. It's the overall appearance. It's the overall production. She mattered nothing. Cheetah mattered nothing.
Thank you. Yep.
Sorry, Patty. I'm sorry. I love you. But Cheetah mattered nothing in this film. I'm starting to get to more where I love it and seeing it 9 times. But still, that constant is a constant in this film. Cheetah mattered nothing.
I completely agree.
She was there for a whole 20 minutes. Woo! And when we saw her, she was, and I understand, and I'm a hypocrite now, and I'll be one in the future because of when I get down to my favorites when we get to the next episode. But she has no resemblance whatsoever in the comic, in the games. It does not look, it didn't feel like Cheetah whatsoever.
Yeah.
We just skipped through that point just to get to Maxwell Lord. That's fine.
Yeah.
If that's the case, take Cheetah out. I get it. You got it because Kristen Wiig was available. And
Oh,
damn,
And that's
did
cool.
Kristen Wiig put on a great performance as Minerva, and her transformation before that, she looked good. Like I was like, damn, girl. The costume designers, they all flattered her. But when we got to Cheetah, it was nonsense. It was a throwaway battle. It was a throwaway battle just to show that armor. That's
See,
all it was for. That's all it was for.
yeah, I think
And that's
if
the
they,
major and only real problem I have with this movie is Cheetah should not have been in there. She was a
yeah.
throwaway character.
You could set her up. I mean, you can leave her in there for like half of the movie, and if the storyline didn't, like, if she didn't get her powers with the way she got her powers, obviously, it would have been a good transformation for maybe like the third installment as a side villain, to where you have like her being set up. But for her, you could literally take her out of the movie, and I feel like
It wouldn't matter.
it wouldn't matter.
It
Yeah,
wouldn't matter.
yeah,
I 100% agree with you, Jester. It wouldn't matter.
yeah.
The issue how she got her powers is not a problem to me, because we have to compromise in Hollywood just to adapt. But it's the end result that pissed me off.
Yeah.
And not just because of that. Patty Jenkins is better than this. She's better than this at developing characters. There's no reason why she couldn't have developed that character better. She didn't.
Maybe just a lack of time, I think, because she
And
had a
that's
lot.
and Jester, maybe you're right. And if that's the case, so be it. And maybe there's studio interference, because studio did interfere,
Oh
because
yeah,
from what I heard, they didn't even want the opening sequence to happen at all.
they didn't
They
want.
wanted
Yeah,
that cut out completely.
Yep.
Right.
So maybe she got studio interference, and if that's the case, mea culpa, and that could be possible, because they fucked with her in the first film. They wouldn't let her do. This is what I'm talking about. You people bitch and moan about these films, but you won't let artists do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Leave the artists alone. Patty Jenkins is a fantastic artist. She's not a director. She's not a writer. She's an artist.
Yeah.
She shows it in every one of her films, even this one. And when you come in and butt in and go, that fucks with the artist's vision. And when you do that, you get Wonder Woman 84.
Well, so that's the thing. If they took out the whole opening sequence, the ending to me wouldn't have really. I mean, it would have been okay, but it wouldn't have had that like grab, because it developed itself in the beginning and with all that opening stuff. You know what I mean? To me, anyway.
And I 100% agree. It's just the flaws in the film. You can see the flaws in the film.
Oh yeah, totally.
Are kind of. I won't say that Patty Jenkins is completely taken away from responsibility, but those flaws that you see in the film, you can kind of see there's a little studio interference involved. You can always tell when they're doing it, because they pick the shit that nobody fucking cares about.
Right.
Yeah. And the artists want to go with something. Patty Jenkins had a vision for this. I know she did, because she has a vision for every film that she does. She'll have a vision for the Star Wars shit, the Star Wars movie. She has a vision for everything she does. And when studios step in and go, no, we need money, that's a problem. And that's when we start to see the flaws. This movie, this movie is not garbage. It really isn't.
Yeah, I think that has also to do a lot with because for the screenplay, she actually wrote the screenplay with Jeff Johns and
Yeah.
David Callahan. Um, a lot of people, a lot of fans, DC fans, are some are very disappointed as far as this film not delivering a consistent Wonder Woman that we got from the first film, as far as like
Jesus fucking Christ.
the stunt team, the action, because the stunt team in that first Wonder Woman film is Zack Snyder's stunt team,
Oh
and
God.
they developed her fighting style and all that stuff. So here we're getting something different. But again, I attribute that with what Patty Jenkins wanted to go for. But as far as the Cheetah character, I like what Kristen Wiig did. I liked her performance. I would have rather seen her be the main villain, and just they could
Me
have just
too.
taken Maxwell Lord out, because like,
Me
oh,
too.
another bad guy, like, which we've
Thank you.
seen before. I mean,
Yep.
Cheetah is Wonder Woman's biggest foe. You know, it would be
Exactly.
better if they just focused
Exactly.
on Barbara Minerva developing that. And I like that thing that they set up at first. I thought that was really well done. They could have still introduced the magic stone without, taking out. But I think you have Maxwell Lord, because he becomes the dream stone. He becomes the wishing stone, and then it escalates into this world, almost nuclear war. That's what makes the story bigger, I guess.
It would have been a different movie if it was just Cheetah, like you're saying.
Well,
And well, no, you could have still done that. You could have still done that with taking Mac. And I agree with you, Mike. That's the problem I have with this movie. Okay, you could have taken Maxwell Lord completely out of this. No offense, Pedro, and made Cheetah the focal point, which it should have been. And as I'm done, we'll defer to Kuya because, he's the comic book expert. But the fact of the matter is this. If you're going to have two villains, set them up in an appropriate way. If not, take one out and put Cheetah in. I don't like that. Like, look, you said it yourself. Kristen Wiig was fine. I didn't like it. When she was announced, I'll admit, I didn't like it. I fucking hated it. She proved me wrong, and she was phenomenal in this. But what was the point? She was a throwaway. So what was the point? And that's why I agree. Maybe you should have taken Maxwell Lord out, or you should have taken Cheetah out. You should have chosen for a definitive villain in this movie and went with that. You could have still used the wish stone and all that bullshit. You could have done it. Either way, this is why I say studio interference, because this is a decision where people like Patty Jenkins aren't this indecisive. That's why I call studio interference, because I don't believe that Patty Jenkins is this indecisive. We've seen her other films. We know she's not. So this is a problem for me. This when we go into the Cheetah aspects of this film, then I can kind of see the hatred and going, this film isn't exactly the best, because it's not as good as the first one. I'll go on record and say that right now. It's nowhere near as good as the first one.
Yeah, boy.
But I've heard, like I said, from these nonsensical, toxic morons to say that it's worse. And I heard this, than Battlefield Earth. You're a fuckwit. You're an absolute fuckwit if you believe that.
Yeah,
If you're trolling, fine. Then you're an edgelord and you need to get alive. That's fine. But if you truly believe that, you're a fuckwit.
Kuya, I haven't heard anything from you.
Yeah, I
like-
want to hear from Kuya. I'm done.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Kuya.
Okay. When I saw the movie.
Okay, that's it, right? All right, Mikey, go ahead. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Kuya.
Yeah. When I saw the movie, a couple of things like popped in my head automatically. I was like, okay, well, shit. They're going with Maxwell Lord as the bad guy, which was in the '80s comic books. He was the bad guy in Wonder Woman comics. That picture that I showed you guys in on the private chat where Wonder Woman snapped somebody's neck.
Yeah.
That's actually Maxwell Lord
And that's what I thought, but
In front of Superman.
in front of Superman
Oh,
and
he's
hot.
gonna kill? I'm gonna
and,
fucking kill this guy.
and TV cameras and shit like that. Okay, because for Wonder Woman honor and duty is a lot. It does it's a lot of things for her. So the theme during the '80s, and I just kind of thought it was kind of funny when they did it. In the '80s, America was fucking greedy as hell, man. Like everybody wanted everything. Greed is good. Greed is the best. Whatever. All of these things, everybody wanted everything. Fucking Operation Wolf was is in the video game center, and it's a 1990s game. Who gives a shit? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You do.
Yeah.
oh damn, I didn't notice that.
I saw that too.
I
but, yeah.
didn't notice the damn.
Did I
Okay.
did I get offended when I saw a 1990s game in a 1980s mall? I'm like, no,
Throw your popcorn at the screen.
that's not changing that's not changing the actor to Hayden fucking Christensen. That's different.
Oh,
So in a sense, when I was watching when I was watching the movie, I'm thinking like Patty Jenkins is like going thematic on the topics right now. It's like, but it's about greed. It's about your wishes, like things that you would do, or if you had that wish that you can do. Like Diana automatic was like, oh, I want to see him again. And I'm willing to risk anything for it. And then Minerva was like, oh, I want to be just like Diana. You know what I'm talking about? And then like Maxwell Lord, all he wanted to do was become famous, become rich, because at the very end of his at the tail end of his story, you showed the background on what he was. He was he was a pissant. He was getting beat up by his parents. He's like peeing the bed. He was an immigrant. Fucking stupid shoes and all that stuff, and he just wanted to be recognized, right? He just wanted to be famous. He just wanted to be all these things. So it was, for me, it was kind of funny when in the very first movie, the theme was war and hate, because it was all about war and hate. How Diana almost shut herself off of everybody because of the atrocities that she saw, right? This was more personal for Diana, just because of the fact that she had to sacrifice Steve one more time. Like it wasn't meant to be. Like it really wasn't meant to be.
yeah, because she didn't
And
even know she was making that wish, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like a random thing. And she's like, she just
Yeah,
said,
it was a off the cuff remark.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And then that was the amazing part of it. And so she was in complete denial when she saw this this dude transform into fucking Steve Trevor. And timeout. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about that White Knight motherfucker in YouTube right now. Okay.
Want me to read the comment first?
Yeah,
please.
Mike, please read the comment first, because we need context for this.
All right.
Yeah.
And
so
then
this is
Kuya
from-
can go on.
Yeah.
So this is from Patrick Hayes on YouTube. He commented on our video, our last episode, and he said, "Imagine being this guy. You lose control of your body and consciousness, and then an unknown woman has sex with you and then takes you on a world-saving adventure. Fighting White House security on the way. Wow.
Just add that in there for fun.
Yeah, thinking now of
Thanks,
like,
guy.
interesting. Fighting White House security on the way, and which could very well led to your death. She shows no remorse and even flirts with him after he gains control of his body. All this while, she knows that if she renounces her wish, everything goes back to normal and the man gets control of his body. But no, Wonder Woman, the biggest female hero in comic book history, is extremely selfish and uses the guy's body, in whatever she wishes for. The sex is equivalent to having a non-consensual sex with an intoxicated man who has lost his senses. This is nothing but quote-unquote rape, violating the basic right of a human consent. That's the whole comment.
Wow.
And Kuya, hold on. Before Kuya goes into his rant. No, I'm not. I have a parallel that I would like to issue after Kuya's done saying what he's saying, because I have a theory about this and I want to hear what Kuya says first. So
okay, so the White Knight assumed that because they woke up in bed next to each other, they slept together or they had sex, right? That's one.
That's implied, right?
I don't know.
I'll back up Kuya on this one. I'll back him up on this one.
Can't two grown-ups like sleep together in the
Are
bed
you
without
fucking
having
kidding
sex?
me? If you were to lose the love of your life, and you haven't seen them in 70 years,
Mike, let me explain.
You get that one chance to get back with them.
Mike, I'm not trying to champion the White Knight. I'm just trying to tell you exactly what I'm seeing.
But it's not his dick though. It's not the same dick. So, I mean, come on.
I did not see any, anything in beknownst to like any sort of bumping and grinding and fooling around and all that stuff. Not at all. It is the 80s, Mike. There's a lot of bumping and grinding happening in the 80s. All right. And then second of all, okay. This White Knight, and I want to call him White Knight again because he is such a Prince Valiant. Oh my God, I love this. I love the fact that he's championing the rights of, rape. No means no, baby. It's the fucking 80s. If you tell a bro from the 80s, I know plenty of bros in the 80s that grew up in the 80s. If you tell a bro, hey bro, you're gonna get, or somebody's gonna take over your mental state. So you're gonna be somebody else, but you're gonna have sex with a beautiful, gorgeous woman. Are you down with that, bro? The first question he's gonna ask, that 80s guy's gonna say, is you gonna use my dick, bro? if he say yes, then I'm all for it, bro. I don't care if it's not me mentally.
Who's the woman, bro?
It's Gal Gadot, bro.
Nah.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I appreciate the fact that he was trying to champion for something. I appreciate that, but it's the wrong fucking context in the movie. It's the wrong fucking movie in the beginning. We saw Wonder Woman 84 with children, and there wasn't any sex scene whatsoever. Like the only thing was like kissing. I'm like, that's not even anything.
Yeah, he didn't care about child labor. That was fine.
Yeah, nobody
that
cared
was
about
fine.
that.
Children being enslaved. If we want to get down to the children being enslaved to do shit they didn't want to do, but you didn't complain about that, did you? Like, shut the fuck up. You're a bum. You're a bum.
Yeah.
I'll say it. What Kuya doesn't.
I was trying to be nice.
The strength to say. I'll say what Kuya doesn't have the strength to say. You're a fucking bum. You're a fucking bum. Because you're talking about fictional characters. So here's something for you. To go on Kuya's point. So let's say that she just raped him. She just raped the shit out of him. Okay. We're talking about fictional characters in a fictional world in other dimensions, correct? Am I wrong?
Do we have to? Yes. Okay.
No,
you're
am I
not.
wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're
We're
in
in Earth 2, yeah.
1984. There's I just want to pose this little theory right here. Okay, maybe she raped him. Let's just say for the sake of argument, she raped him. But hold on. We're in a fictional world, fantasy, sci-fi, hero realm, right? So there's this little show called Quantum Leap where Sam Beckett, and I'm not going to go into it, but there's this little show called Quantum Leap that came out in the 80s. It came out in 1989. A couple years after 84, sorry, but it came out in the 80s too. And there's this little show called Quantum Leap. And when Sam Beckett leaps into a person's body, he doesn't rape them. He takes the person's body, he takes their memories, he takes everything that is inside their body, and he becomes them. And for all intents purposes, he is them. Now, the person that he takes over the body of goes into a neutral zone where he sits there and he has to think about his life, or he's just sitting there as a zombie, for example. He doesn't know that said person has taken over his body. He's in the neutral zone. While Sam Beckett is taking over this person's body and living his life as it is intended in the history of his life. So if that means that Sam Beckett has to have sex with that person's wife, does that mean he's raping the wife, considering in the timeline, in his mental state, in his body, he's that person? Is he really raping? So then we go to Wonder Woman 84, where she made the wish that she didn't know she made. It was a nonchalant wish in her heart. I just want my man back. That's all she wanted.
And I would give anything.
It showed the most human aspect of what Diana is in that moment. She wished for that.
Yep.
Are you going to tell me that this person didn't get transferred over to another point where he's sitting there and her man came in? I get it. Well, it didn't look like Chris Pine. It doesn't matter. That wasn't the point of what Patty Jenkins was trying to get across. That is not the point. And with that being said, how do you not know that personality went backward? How do you know that they didn't go to the Amazon country? How do you know? You don't know. And with that being said, you can't just say, oh, it's automatically rape. We're talking about fictional characters. She didn't just jump on him, rip his clothes off, and he said no, and she went, oh, I'm going to get this dick, baby. She didn't do that. So stop doing that. Because when you do that, you disgusting motherfuckers, especially this piece of peonic fucking garbage that commented on this comment, you don't know shit about shit. Because when you say that shit, you take away from victims who actually have been raped. So shut the fuck up, go in your cage and stay in it. That's your place. You're garbage.
So as far as my response to that comment,
Okay.
when Diana makes the wish on the stone, first of all, you guys mentioned earlier, it was an off the cuff thing. Like, she was thinking, like, if she could wish for anything, that's the only one. That's the one wish that she would wish for Steve Trevor to be back, right? She had no idea that he would come back in someone else's body.
That's why she was shocked herself.
Exactly. And that's why, like, and I love the subtle hint when the guy, one of her coworkers, touches the stone and he says, "Oh, I wish I had a coffee," and then the other guy walks in with an extra coffee. He was like, "Oh, look at that!" It was like a hint already, and every time
that was the setup,
right? And every time someone makes a wish, there's like a gust of wind, like you see it, it happens, and that's why, like, I was thinking, like, if Diana had knew what she was really wishing for and it was actually going to work, she wouldn't have wished for Steve Trevor to come back in someone else's body. She would have just wished for him to come back, you know,
Exactly.
in his own body. So
Exactly.
and that's why like the morning after, I thought it was funny when she wakes up, because we see a setup as well, like she's been living alone, like she's not even entertaining anyone else, like so guys are trying to like, you know, have a give a shot at her, or like trying to, you know,
Trying to holler.
share a cab ride with her or something, but you know, nothing. When you see her, she goes to bed, like she's been living this lonely, secluded life. And then the next morning, you know, when she wakes up, she was thinking, you know, there's that hint, and this is for the people who are like, Gal Gadot doesn't know how to act. Like, fuck you guys, you don't know anything about acting unless you've been, you know, to an acting class and you've actually done shit, you know.
Exactly.
Like I have, like I've been in theater, I've been in acting classes, and it's
As
I'm not saying I'm a
have.
good actor, but it takes a lot. You know, you can over exaggerate and look like shit, but it's the subtle hints. It's this is the actor's landscape right here. It's on their face. You see, I see it every time I watch the film. When she wakes up, there's a subtle hint of like, to me, it pretty much, her reaction communicated to me like, oh, was it a dream? And then she turns around real quick and he's there.
Yeah.
And she sees him and he's like eating Pop-Tarts. He's just like, because he's amazed, like the fish out of water story is great. And of course, Chris Pine, the national treasure that is Chris Pine, you know, he's just looking at the airplane or looking at, and like, again, people looking at, when he looks at the train, it's not a train, but it's like
The monorail.
the monorail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people were like, there were trains when he in World War One. I'm like, yeah, but they
But
didn't
not
go
as
as fucking fast. They were
Yeah.
steam engines. Holy shit, people.
Exactly.
Like, do you guys see like why this is in the 80s? Yeah, there were planes back then. Or like, oh, how did you learn how to fly the jet? I'm like, are you guys fucking kidding me? Can we remember first what the movie we're watching? The movie we're watching is based on a character that was made out of clay. You know, and then
And-
like, she can do these amazing things. Like, holy shit, people.
And exactly, that's the point. And like Mike said, I wasn't in theater, but I went to film school and they forced us to act. So, because I was a director and I turned my nose and I don't need it. They pushed that shit down and said, no, boy, you ain't nothing better than the rest of us. And they made you act and they made you understand character beats, flaws, facial expressions, everything. And for you to tell me that Gal Gadot didn't do any of that is ridiculous. And the fact that you say, he raped him, that's a sloppy opinion because he didn't. Like I said, you don't know that that person that he raped, that she raped, went back into a limbo zone. Because fine, you see his face, but what she sees is his face. And it's not because it's the wish she made. The wish she made was for him to be brought back initially in spirit. Because like we all said, it was a nonchalant wish. So the fates that control those wishes, because we're getting into the fantasy science, whatever zone of this, the fates decided, okay, yeah, they weren't specific. So we're going to do this and we're going to bring him back through that vessel and we're going to take that vessel out.
Well,
We saw it through the whole movie. Maxwell Lord did it at the end. He says he engulfs the wishes through wishes. And they went, okay. Fate went, okay, you're going to get what you want. And the catastrophe happened. And that's when Wonder Woman stepped in. You don't know what Patty Jenkins was thinking. To say that that person was raped, you're saying that you know what Patty Jenkins was thinking as a filmmaker. You're saying you know what Patty Jenkins was thinking as a writer.
Right. And
Then
then
you're fucking Nostradamus then.
Yeah, I mean, can I give my shot at this guy?
go ahead.
Like this one, yeah. Like I feel really bad that this is what he took away from the movie. Like I understand if those are his concerns, as they should be all of ours, but if you remember correctly, the one, she didn't know that wish was going to come true, and she didn't know how it was going to come true. Two, if you remember, if you watched it all the way through, and at the very end of the movie, you were taught the lesson through the storyline that when you, according to that God who made that stone, when you make a wish, it has a cost.
Yep.
No matter what, everyone suffered. I mean, for crying out loud, if you're going to talk about the quote unquote rape, what about that guy that told her, "I wish you dropped dead," and then she died? I mean, you know what I mean? You know, so if we're going to go that route, you know, but my main point is that I feel really bad for you if that's what you took away from the movie. And I feel like you may have missed some things that may have been important to take away from.
And I not to interrupt Kuya real quick, but I 100% agree with Jester. This movie is at its core, and I know this may be a hot controversial take, but this movie is one about empowering women, and two, teaching fathers how to be men toward their sons.
Yep.
Because you see that at the very end with Maxwell Lord when he makes that sacrifice. It wasn't Wonder Woman that saved the day. You noticed that. And that was a Patty Jenkins decision because it was about making sure that fathers connect with their sons. Maybe I took that way and it may not be right, but with that ending scene that almost brought me to fucking tears, where he hugged his son after the shit was done, that is proof positive. It's not about rape. It's not about this side or this side. It's about women being empowered, which we saw quite clearly. And it's also about fathers toward their sons, because that was a huge narrative in the movie from the beginning, because he only became the way he became because of the ideals toward his son. He wanted to make his son proud of him.
Yep.
And that's why he became what he became.
Yep. He did whatever.
So that's what you take out of it. That's what I took out of it.
Right. I also want to point out in that scene when they wake up that next morning, Steve, they're like, "Oh, we could just stay in this room. Like we just stay here all day." But then she also mentions like, "I also need, but you're right, we could just stay here, but I need to figure out how my boyfriend came back into someone else's body."
Yeah.
Yes.
So she mentions that
Exactly.
clearly.
So she knew.
Exactly.
She knew what was the circumstances were.
Right. Right. And so when actually, so in the gala, when the guy comes up to her and he says like, "Diana," I actually can already hear Chris Pine's voice.
A little bit. Yeah. A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I do want to point out, so there's this guy who tweeted, his Twitter handle is @DustyDon'tShoot. So he tweeted, "My defense of Patty Jenks and Wonder Woman 1984 usage of the body swap trope, plus a link to body swap movies." So he put a link on the Wikipedia page linking respected people I know. And so he tags a few other people. And then he posted some notes. So number one, I'm linking the wiki to the body swap movie genre. If you can't see that Patty Jenkins was playing with that trope and even intentionally pointing out the problematic nature that all these movies have to skirt around, then I think you need to re-examine a beloved 80s fantasy movie like
Yep.
Big with Tom Hanks, where he, as a 12-year-old in an adult body, has sex with an adult female, making her a statutory rapist by default. Also, number 2, the movie implies that if you revoke your wish, then much of the impact of your wish is revoked. Hence, even the sex Diana had with a guy possessed with Steve may have actually been eradicated from the movie's fabric of reality. And so Patty Jenkins saw that and she pretty much agreed. And she said, she tweeted, I'm looking for her reply. She said, ha, 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 period. Exactly. That's exactly what she was going to.
Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make. Because if you're taking that stance, then Dr. Sam Beckett and Quantum Leap raped people across the timeline from where he started to the time where he left off.
Yep.
Because he did have emotional connections and sexual relationships in episodes with those people that he fused into. But it's rape. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up.
You know what I got from this movie is the power. I don't know about the power, but self-sacrifice, man. So much. We're just so selfish, especially nowadays. You know, obviously, myself included. But for crying out loud, I mean, Diana gave everything.
Yep.
Everything. And
For the world,
she got it for like a second. And then she gave it away again.
Yep.
Just to, you know.
And remember, she didn't want it because Steve was the one that was forcing her.
Exactly.
You have to do this. You have to rescind your wish.
Exactly.
You have to because this is for the greater good of mankind. It's not just I don't want to lose you again. No, you have to do this.
And I'm sure those are qualities that she loved.
Best performance. What brought on her best performance.
And it was
that moment she was brokenhearted.
And it was tied into the contest that they had at the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When little Diana cheated, right? Quote unquote, whatever.
Yep.
Right.
And then she was told, "No, you missed one. You missed it. You took the shorter route. No, you can't do that."
Yep.
You need to learn that you have to go through a certain path in order for you to succeed. You can't just dilly dally into doing other things like that.
Exactly.
So yeah,
and that was the setup for that end. You're right, Kuya. That was the setup for that end.
My thoughts on Wonder Woman 84. I liked it. I really did. It was very thematic for me. I liked much like the first one. The first one was about war and hatred. This one was about greed. And for me, I like greed and the things that are that in men's nature, and and like in humankind's nature, in that sense. It is because we're trying to tie in, and that's what Patty Jenkins wanted. It was to tie in her Wonder Woman story to Zack's, because remember Batman versus Superman or in Justice League or whatever. Bruce was like talking shit and saying, you cut yourself off. Why?
That's Justice League, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the things that like they were trying to tie in together and everything like that. So.
Right. And then I want to.
But I have a couple of issues though, and one, Maxwell Lord's son. Why the hell is he Filipino?
Alistair, how do you know he's Filipino? He didn't speak a lick of Tagalog.
He looks Filipino, don't he? He doesn't look.
He could be any Asian.
Are you profiling Kuya?
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like Maxwell Lord at all.
But he doesn't say anything.
Well, he could look like the mom, who we never saw.
Yes, yeah, that's where I'm horrible. I thought he was adopted.
Yeah, I was thinking he was adopted, but then that was
that's what I thought too. I know.
I didn't
then-
pay any attention to it. I really.
And then number 2, as much as Pinhead and Jester didn't like it, I kind of missed a little bit of 80s tracks. Just a little bit, not not too much, not all over the place.
Okay.
I just wanted a little bit of 80s, just a reminder, here and there. Like for example, like
You had a whole fucking reminder through the whole fucking film.
no, no, it was cool. Let's see the jet scene, the turn,
Beautiful.
That was awesome.
the one that
was awesome.
turned it into like the invisible jet. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
amazing because
Was.
my issue with that is like how the hell did they have enough gas to fly from Washington D.C. to Egypt
they
and
figured it
back
out.
and back? So, but again, that this is in my head, and I was like, I was just like,
Thinking
worrying
too
about-
hard when
Yeah,
we
thinking too
should.
hard
When we
already.
really shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah,
it was-
but I see where Kuya's coming from because he has those same experiences that I had with a movie or a series that I'll talk about later in the next episode. But I understand where he's coming from because in parts it can be egregious.
there's parts.
Like there's no reason for it, and then you do this, but it didn't bother me. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like when Cheetah finally stood up to that annoying drunk guy, and
Yeah,
he literally beat the shit out of him really bad, and then the poor old homeless guy was like, Minerva, and then all of a sudden she's just like, like shut the fuck up or whatever.
She was losing. She was losing her humanity, like Diana
Yeah.
said.
And that was the consequence, right? And that's what
Yeah.
Diana said.
Uh-huh.
She was the most like she was warm. She was full of energy. She was very human, very humane.
Mm-hmm.
And but like she didn't see that because all she wanted to do is she wanted to be was like the glamour that is Diana, the one that's like uber confident, the one that was like stylish and all that good stuff. And but again, the faults of humanity with their greed and stuff, it's amazing. And go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like don't have any like issues. Like I said, watching it again, I like when because when I saw the hate before, I was just like, really, you guys are gonna compare this to like to like even movies that I didn't even want to watch.
Well, when I heard Battlefield Earth, I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking tree.
Yeah,
Now you're either just trolling, which is fine, or you're just so blinded by hate that there's no hope for you.
well the
Because
comment.
when you compare Wonder Woman 84 to John Travolta's Battlefield Earth, you're out of your fucking tree. That movie was absolute trash. And all of us, no matter what side, race, color, creed, it doesn't matter. We can all agree Battlefield Earth was trash. And I've heard people saying, this movie's worse than Battlefield Earth. You're garbage.
I was shocked when they compared it to Captain Marvel. I'm like, really?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
they were the meme of Thanos saying, "Perhaps I treated you too harshly," and it's Captain Marvel, and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, no, not even
Okay.
close, man. I don't
So,
even.
so on that point, and I'm not the end all be all, but like I said, I've seen Captain Marvel 1.5 times. I fell asleep the second time around. I've seen Wonder Woman 84/9. So
Yeah, I don't need to go on that again. You can listen to the last podcast to what I had to say about that, because that's just
I was
bonkers.
for me
It's
that was very
ridiculous.
offending.
It's ridiculous. And when you put it in the vein of Captain Marvel, and even okay, I'll give you a pass, Captain Marvel, but when you put it in the vein of Green Lantern and Daredevil with Ben Affleck and Battlefield Earth, you're smoking some major fucking meth. You really are, because it takes, you're either mental in the head like me, and even I know there's a problem, or you're doing some kind of next level drugs that would make you go, yeah, this movie is as bad as Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Like, what are you talking about, you nut job?
That's
Are
the
you
that's the magic.
serious?
That's the magic wishing stone meth.
Exactly. I hope I
yeah.
get that Walter White.
Yeah, I really love the jet scene as well. The score, Hans Zimmer's score, is just
Awesome.
beautiful, and especially in that part, I love that part.
And fucking people, don't understand, like the same flying components in a jet is the same flying components as in an airplane.
Can
like
we
in
not?
in World
Yeah.
War One.
Can we not just mention the fact that as a pilot, he didn't just get in and was like, oh, I know where all the knobs are. He was like, okay, fuel. Where's, like he knows his steps he has to do as a pilot and what he's looking for. And it took him a couple seconds.
Right.
Like it seemed realistic to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It did. And that's a testament to Patty Jenkins once again. Her attention to detail. Like looking at the fact that, from my last movie, obviously he wouldn't know this shit. But he adapts quickly because at the end of the day, it's the same difference. It's just new technology.
And
he's a pilot, exactly.
That's damn good acting from Chris Pine as well. When he switches on the engines, he just makes this like laugh.
The little girl giggle.
Because he just wants to fly it. Like, he doesn't want to be in a plane, he wants to fly a plane. And he gets it again. And because again, when you look at the first Wonder Woman film, I don't think we ever got both of them in a plane. Like when he took off in the plane, he was gonna sacrifice himself. So this amends that, where he gets to take her flying, and then of course later in the movie she gets to fly on her own, and she remembers his words because she
and that's what initially makes her fly.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Holy crap! What a scene.
Oh, and everybody was shocked. Like in my family, when they saw Wonder Woman fly, all of them turned to me, and she was like, "Wonder Woman flies."
What?
Yeah, and I'm like, in the comic books, yeah. And then they were like,
thank you.
Yeah. So it was just hilarious. Like when, everybody was shocked. But that's the thing. That's
the normie mentality. They don't know that.
Yeah, for them it was cool
they,
though.
They not impressed by that, right?
Oh, they were so impressed.
Okay, that's the point I'm trying to make. Not everybody. That's what I've been trying to say since the get-go of the, and I will be guilty of this later on down the next episode. So maybe I'm somewhat of a hypocrite, but this is a testament to what I'm talking about. Is when you can make something that is accessible to you and the normies, you're doing something right.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying. You're doing something right.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't have anything egregious to say about the movie, but I did prefer the first one just because the first one was just visually amazing for me. Like the no man's land, right?
Oh,
no man's land was shit.
That's it.
Man.
Like when it
and
made
that's
the movie.
The only issue I have with this movie is we don't exactly get a no man's land moment in this movie.
I mean, the closest one was the flying scene. I mean,
exactly. That is the closest.
For me, it was the scene before when she gave up what she wanted most. That scene stuck with me after the movie. So I got that out of it.
Well, I agree with that. I'm talking about action scenes.
Action scenes, then her flying.
As far as emotional scenes, you're right, Jester. That hit me hard. Like I'm a black heart. Like I've said time and time again, I'm a black heart. And when she did that and had to do it, it hit me hard. Yeah. Especially her walking away with the tears in her eyes and just being so upset. I think the moment that almost made me okay, so I didn't cry but I got the nose crying. My nose cried. You know what I'm talking about when your nose,
Oh yeah.
the
Hey,
pre-nose crying before
Guilty.
you get the tears. Yeah,
Yeah,
before you get
guilty
the
here.
tears in your eye, that moment in your nose where it's watering right before you start crying. That's where I went when she's like, I can't let you go. I can't, like, I was like, oh, don't do this.
Yeah.
But that is a testament not only to Patty Jenkins directing, but to Gadot's non-acting. You know,
Yeah.
you fucking fuckwits.
She did.
Like,
She did good, man.
that proved she could act. Like, she stepped her game up above and beyond the Call of Duty. You could tell in that moment she went into some personal shit and dug deep down and got something so she could do that scene.
Right.
That's a true testament of a good actor.
Yep.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, she even tells him, "I'll never love again," and then he tells her,
exactly.
like, "I hope that is never true.
I hope not.
You know, I hope that's not true because there's a big world out there. You know."
Yeah. Big man right there.
Exactly.
But that's the beauty again. It's world world building, great storytelling, and everything.
Yeah, and to the guy that commented on the channel, I hope that if you do decide to see it again, that those are the things that you get out of this movie is the heart, instead of that other stuff. But
fuck that motherfucker, because people like him or her or whatever, they just look for the most bullshit they can look for, and they don't care about the film. They don't care about the overall. Those people don't care about the overall film. You can have your opinion. You can have your opinion. I'm fine with that. But when you go into and you start trashing people for their opinion, that's a problem.
But yeah, I don't want to say screw him, because like if that's where his heart's at, or that's where her heart's at, whoever it is. I feel bad.
It's a different story.
I feel bad because, like, if that's where your mindset's at, that's rough, and I feel bad for you. And I just hope that like you might be able to get some of that joy and the heart out of that movie that we all did, instead of that rough stuff. So.
And Jester, you're right. Mea culpa. I'll take it back. That's true. I won't completely say fuck you, whoever you are, regardless of what your race, color, creed, gender, whatever. But the fact that you took the Henry Rollins pessimistic view of Wonder Woman 84, that's on you, not Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, that's true.
That's your problem, because you're a pessimist who hates everything like Henry Rollins.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention also, I love the Cairo scene, the chase sequence when the chase after Maxwell.
That like when she's like actually losing her powers, right?
Right, because we kind of get a hint that she's losing her strength when they break into
the Maxwell's
Black Gold Enterprises or whatever.
It was kind of funny too, because it gives you bang, 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 bang. Man, that's a strong lock.
And then I love in the Cairo chase sequence, we get that slow-mo shot of her running toward the camera, and then that's Hans Zimmer updating the Wonder Woman theme, which I absolutely love.
That tweak of the theme was awesome.
Right. And then just the overall action, the way it was shot and edited and everything, it was just a great action sequence. And the fact that she's using her lasso, she's pushing the truck, or was it the truck? I think it was the truck, and then shooting at her. She gets wounded in her shoulder. And then Steve uses the rocket to launch it and so she can use it to like get ahead to save the kids.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I like that when we get toward the end, she doesn't use any of her powers to stop the villain whatsoever. She uses her soul, her heart, her psychology. She uses everything in her body, in her soul. There's no powers, there's no flying. Yes, we get but for the most part, her persuasion is what pushed him to stop what he was doing.
Yeah,
Wait,
using,
was
using
the lasso
of
like?
truth.
Yeah,
Yes,
she used the lasso. I understand that, but
but it was the
the
truth that
lasso,
unlocked it.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
That's
the
the thing.
lasso wasn't complete because when you see it, the lasso didn't do really much shit. It was her compelling story that pushed him to stop it. Yes, the
She was
lasso
showing him all the pain
had
he
its
caused.
power and it maybe was the benefactor, but her speech is what actually got him to push forward and with the combination of the lasso.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I like about that. I like the fact that it just wasn't, she threw the lasso on him and went, oh, well, you're done making wishes. So let's stop. That's not how it worked.
She was
Yeah.
hurting like
How it
everybody
worked.
else.
Right.
Exactly. It took that to stop it. So that's what, and that's why I said, there's no substance to this movie. Then go back and watch it again. You don't have to watch it 9 times like I did, but you need to watch it more than once to go, oh, well, this is just trash.
Especially after what we said. Go back and watch it.
Fine. In hindsight, fine. Maybe you could say it was trash. But on a second viewing, yeah, I get it. There's flaws in this film. It's not perfect. It is not.
Yeah.
Anyone that says this film's perfect is a fuckwit. But anyone says that this film is absolutely the worst film of the year is also a fuckwit. Because
Right.
it's not that case.
Right.
It's not, it's not that, there's shades of gray here. It's not an absolute where it's the best film of the year or the worst film of the year. It's not that absolute. It's just not.
Right. And then going back to the scene when she speaking to everyone, to the whole world, I love the fact that Hans Zimmer uses the same track from the beginning of Batman versus Superman, Beautiful Lie. They incorporated it. And the theme, the title of the track is Beautiful Lie. And it fits perfectly into the theme of the movie and in that scene. There was a comment that I read that just really blew me away in the sense that I was just like, I think you're forgetting you're watching a movie. So the comment was basically, she watched the movie and she said, like, at the end, she could not connect with the movie because of how selfish she's seen everyone here, especially in America with the raging pandemic going on. Everyone would not renounce their wishes like that. And I was just like, wow, you're really missing the point of this movie then. And I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Like,
Exactly.
we've seen some really terrible shit looking at the last year, but there's a reason why it's also connected to a lot of people who get it, who get the message of the movie, who get the what Patty Jenkins and everyone else who made this movie was trying to basically portray and basically send out there. I do want to mention also Pedro Pascal's performance. I thought it was great.
Yes. Amazing.
It was over the top, but it fit. It was.
No.
It was a perfect over the top.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it was
Exactly.
just that right
Because-
part of him. Like he could have really went into Ultra
That was-
Super Saiyan cringe mode, but
Nicolas Cage
did-
mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Nicolas Cage mode in the swear words series that's on Netflix right
See,
now. You know,
Pedro got me at
over
the
the
end.
top bullshit, which makes Nicolas Cage awesome, but it would have made Pedro Pascal look like a fucking buffoon.
So see, Pedro, when I thought he was overacting at the end, but the thing was, it fit because he was just so
It was so out of it.
overindulged.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
He enveloped
So
so much
overindulged.
power. Of course, he went that over the top.
Yep. But it was good and it was amazing. I thought he did great. I even was like in my mind when I was watching, I was like, man, he's doing a good job.
And even not to interrupt you, Kuya, but even if that was an over the top moment that was completely garbage to you, he redeems it when he meets his son.
There you go. Yep.
Sorry. That acting when he goes back to his son after it's all said and done, that hit me hard.
Yeah.
Personally, that hit me hard. So even if it was over the top, it wasn't over the top when he met his son again after that shit
No,
was.
if you've seen like those '80s videos, like with all of these like real estate and oil magnates and the one that's talking about business and how I'm gonna make you rich and all that stuff, right? He fits the bill exactly, like to
Oh.
to the letter, man.
Totally, man.
And yeah, like it's such a good redemption arc, in the
It
sense
really
that
is.
like I was just like, holy crap, this is like Luke Skywalker Last Jedi redemption arc. It was amazing,
Easy now, buddy.
Now you're gonna start triggering people.
I just wanted to make sure that Jester is wide awake.
I'm listening, baby.
So,
Don't worry.
okay,
love
all
it.
right.
I
just
knew
wanted to
I
make
missed
sure.
Kuya for a reason.
I just wanted to make sure. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but
Alright.
yeah, it's beautiful. Like what Pedro Pascal did is amazing. So I'm a fan of his now. Like a bigger
just
fan of his
now?
now. Oh,
Yeah.
No.
I know,
After
like,
Mandalorian, really, guy?
No, I
So
mean,
Paul-
Oberyn.
Yeah,
he-
Narcos, man.
Oh yeah, Narcos, man. Yeah, he was great in that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Shoot.
was
Fuck
great
the
as Oberyn.
Mandalorian. Narcos.
Yeah,
man.
where he got his skull crushed in. That was great.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
It was.
So I've got a little fun fact regarding Pedro Pascal and how
Alright.
he connects to the Wonder Woman universe. So he actually played Ed Indelicato in the pilot Wonder Woman TV series back in 2011.
Oh,
That
nice.
never saw the light of day. It starred Adrian Palicki as Wonder Woman,
Yep.
but it was just really bad. So, but I guess it's probably on YouTube.
It was in Humans bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I guess it's a good thing that we didn't see that show like make it out to everyone, because it could have, who knows what it could have done as far as setting Wonder Woman back. But of course, lo and behold, a gentleman named Zack Snyder brought her in and kickstarted her, back in 2000.
And that happens with a lot of people because, a lot of people don't know Lady Gaga was in an episode of Sopranos before she became huge. She wanted to be an actress, and that didn't turn out so well, but now she's one of the biggest pop stars of all time. So
she's an
Slash
actress.
actress.
So now,
/ actresses, exactly. Like it came full circle, but it took that pop star status to get her to the acting.
alrighty. So I think we pretty much said.
Oh,
what we needed to say. Go ahead.
we forgot the Marvel version of the DC, or the DC version of the Marvel mid credits.
Oh, that's right. Shit, how could we forget about
Jesus.
Oh
that?
yeah,
Oh,
with the
Linda
original
Carter.
Wonder
Linda Carter.
Woman.
Oh my gosh, she was so beautiful. When,
So who
when,
is
when I
that
saw her,
character? So I can
Asteria.
understand for the
Asteria.
uninitiated.
the remember like
For
they
us
were talking.
normies.
Yeah, they were talking about the greatest hero, the one that wore
Yes.
the golden armor first, right?
I got
Yeah,
that.
that's her. That was Linda Carter.
Mike, the character name?
Asteria.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
So
Asteria.
Okay.
Yeah,
at the
Asteria.
beginning of the
So
film,
she's the original bad bitch.
Yeah. So what happened was in they also showed it in the whatchamacallit, in the movie where she sacrificed herself and wearing that armor in order to protect the other Amazons to flee from the kingdoms of men.
Okay.
So she was like, all this stuff, got all beat up and all that stuff. But people thought that she just died, just because whatever. When like so when I saw the when I saw this, like, oh, who is this tall, good looking, like,
Yeah, that's sexy.
and then she turned around. I was like, oh my god, it's Linda Carter.
so
That's right.
so in the scene when Diana shows Steve with the magic lasso, that flashback, it's just a close up of her eyes. When I saw the close up of her eyes, I already knew it was Linda Carter, just because of those eyes. So, and then at the beginning of the film on Themyscira, when the champion wins for that tournament, there's a golden statue that rises out of the water. That's the statue of Asteria.
Yeah.
So in tribute to her.
Well, unfortunately for me, I didn't know all of that, but I knew it was because someone spoiled the end credit scene for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew it was Linda Carter.
Oh, hey, speaking of Linda Carter, I just finished an episode of Smallville where she
Linda
plays
Carter.
Chloe's mom.
Oh,
Hell
And
yeah.
I was like, oh snap.
yep.
So-
So and then I just wish that mid credit scene they could have just put that in the movie. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know why.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Put it at the
that's what I preferred to.
Yeah,
And
just put it at the end.
what I would have actually wanted to see, what I thought that they could have
like an interaction between the two.
an
Well,
actual
nothing-
interaction between the two, and like when Diana needs, because it's set in the first film, like once she leaves the island, she can never return. So
Yep.
I think the best way for her to still get knowledge and like all these things for Themyscira is to actually have a relationship with Asteria and to find her.
Yeah, but
I hope that we see more of her in the third film
Mike-
and actually do something.
Mike, we don't want Wonder Woman to have a mentor because Spider-Man already took that genre.
Fuck that shit. I want Wonder Woman to have a mentor. Why the hell?
Linda
not?
Carter is the new mentor of Spider-Man
sure,
in the
like-
Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, by the way, Linda
That would be
Carter is in
awesome.
In Spider-Man 3. I was thinking of something. I totally blanked out. Yeah, they were saying they wanted to bring her in the first film for a cameo, but that didn't work. So it worked out much better here. And they even mentioned in that virtual premiere that their Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot are in constant contact with Linda Carter as they were making this film,
Because
asking
they-
her questions and
they held it. They held that show in high regard because it was a good show.
right.
in the
and
80s.
it's the legacy. It's part of the
Yeah.
legacy. So I really hope, I'd love to see the character of Asteria in the third film, and actually, because Diana mentions when she went looking for her, she only found the armor and not her, of course. So it would be cool to see an interaction, a relationship with that. Or unless in the third film they just break everything and she gets to return to the island. Why not? I do want to mention, I've known some of the spoilers already for quite a while now. I was hoping that when we see her in the golden armor, the reason why she has to wear the armor is because she doesn't have all her powers back yet. That's what I was really hoping to explain.
That's what I was hoping for too.
Right, to explain why she would need this armor. And then
Exactly.
but then
I think they just wanted to have Gal Gadot take a shot at the 84 armor because it looks good in the comic books.
Oh yeah, it looks great. I thought it was awesome, but I just wish that I was hoping that played more into the story as far as the plot and her not having.
And that shit was throwaway too because Cheetah bashed the shit in a couple of times and then bam,
it was
it's
gone. Yeah.
Right.
Like okay. That's another one of the major directing choices that I'm like, okay.
Remember I mentioned to you guys why Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery isn't as big as Batman's or Superman's. I mentioned that in the private chat, and I said it is because she fucking kills everybody. Because that's what happens. Maxwell Lord is the main villain in the 80s. Where is he at now? Broken neck. Cheetah's the only one that survives because Cheetah is actually a badass villain in the DC comic books.
So speaking of
And that's what pisses me off because I know that, and she was a throwaway character here. That's why I find that part to be the most egregious because she was just Kristen Wiig.
well, we'll see what happens in the third film because we do, like she says, when Diana tells her renounce your wish, and Cheetah basically says never. Ooh, never. Doesn't that sound familiar? It sounds like a General Zod. The General Zod said the same damn thing to a Superman. He didn't want to stop what he was doing, and of course,
You guys
was faced with a difficult decision, and so was Diana. I mean, she got her basically shocked the cat and knocked her out. I thought for a second that she was dead because she starts sinking in the water. So as far as Wonder Woman killing, I do want to mention Zack Snyder did tweet 4 days ago a picture which was supposed to be a concept, the original picture that was supposed to be featured in that quick scene when Bruce Wayne is doing some research on the drive on that he gets from Lex Luthor, and he sees that picture of Diana back in World War One. The original picture, it says here, is Wonder Woman, 1854. This amazing image shot by Stephen Berkman of an Elseworld war-weary Diana who had chased Ares across the battlefields of the world and had yet to meet Steve, who would help her restore her faith in mankind and love itself. So it's Wonder Woman in the Crimean War. There's a samurai. There's a Native American warrior. It looks like there's an assassin there. It just looks fucking awesome. And then Wonder Woman, of course, is holding a spear, and she's holding 3 severed heads of generals.
Yep.
And he pretty much posted that because people were like, Wonder Woman doesn't kill. And he's like, well, you got to look at the source material because she does kill. And she is a god or a demigod. And demigods, gods, kill gods.
In DC comic book canon, she is God now, a demigod.
She is a god now, yeah. So
Yeah.
There you go. So I guess it seemed like that was the initial, that was the original concept for that first Wonder Woman film, which they changed to World War One, I think later on. But Patty Jenkins did mention also that when she was making that first Wonder Woman film, the studio was really pushing back as far as like, yeah, you're directing the movie, but we want
You're not directing the movie.
Right. But thank goodness for her fighting back, especially with that No Man's Land sequence, because that's Wonder Woman right there. That's what makes the film really like shine. So, really good stuff. So yeah, I can't wait for the Blu-ray with all the special features. As far as box office, this debuted again 16 million opening day, which is the highest, believe it or not, it's the highest grossing movie during the pandemic. So really interesting. Let's looking at how it's doing so far.
Bigger than Tenet? Oh my God.
Well, Tenet is still bigger internationally because it's been out for 5 months now. It's still playing in theaters. But as far as the opening, yeah. And that's why that's Sunday, that opening weekend, Warner Brothers just announced that they are fast tracking Wonder Woman 3 because despite the reviews, despite the split, reactions, people are still enjoying it and people are loving it. So the current domestic, let's see. So current domestic gross is at 28 million since its release, and then international current is at 89 million. So total worldwide with domestic and international, we're at 118 million.
It's not bad.
So, I mean, all things considered, not all the movie theaters are open, but internationally, it's doing really well. So, and the fact that, again, like a lot of people saw it on HBO Max, it basically got half of its subscribers to watch the movie when on Christmas, on that weekend at least.
Yep.
So, and again, this is just the beginning. We're getting a bunch of other Warner Brothers films direct to HBO Max. So we will see how they perform as well.
That
the box
Denzel
office.
Washington movie looks interesting.
Yes, with Jared Leto and what's his name? Goodness gracious, Rami Malek And in that trailer, when you watch that trailer, and so the film is called The Little Things. In that trailer, right at the credits of the trailer, it says Denzel Washington, Academy Award winner. Jared Leto, Academy Award winner. Rami
leader.
Malek, Academy Award winner. So you got
Yep.
3 powerhouses right there. So that'll be interesting.
Yep.
Might be a pass for Jester.
Well, no, I'll watch it because I love Denzel, and I like Rami. Those
Rami
two,
Malek is fucking awesome. He's
those two,
God, he's awesome.
those two incredible actors can take care of my problem with Leto easily. So I'll check it out.
All righty. So any last thoughts on Wonder Woman? As far as the rating,
Out of how many stars? What are we doing?
well,
2.
stars. I think we'll go with the
Oh, our rating system.
yeah. So we're gonna introduce our rating system. Just because I think it's yeah, you can give stars or you can give like a score, but that could always mean different to anyone else, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
I think to make it clearer as far as like where we stand on this. So our rating system will go. It's either a watch it now, or check it out, no rush, or proceed with caution, and then the lowest rating is don't even bother. So
Okay.
I'm gonna start. Of course, obviously, mine is gonna be a watch it now. So if you can see it on the big screen, great. If you can see it on HBO Max, hey, at least you're checking it out. I think it's a watch it now.
Okay. I'll go with check it out. When you get a chance, definitely check it out.
I'm going with my own personal rating called Fuck It, Suck It, or Chuck It. I will say suck it. It's not worth a fuck, but it's definitely worth a suck. So
Okay. Oh gosh.
Go watch it. Don't be a jerk. Just watch it.
yeah, that's my watch it.
Watch it now.
There's no
Okay.
reason not to. There's no, especially if you haven't seen it, there's no reason not to go. Especially if you have an HBO Max subscription, there's no reason to turn your nose up at it. You're there already. Go see the damn film and then judge for yourself.
Right.
Cool.
All righty. Well, thank you guys for listening to our movie review and thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. We're definitely going to be doing this hopefully more often as far as big releases go, as far as big movies. And yeah, you can definitely follow us on Instagram at FMANDTB. And we definitely appreciate review and rating on Apple Podcasts. That would be awesome. I'm looking right now. I'm checking just in case there's something new or some new review. And I'm checking. Nope, nothing new. But hey, we're still 5 stars out of 5, so that's still something.
Nice.
Hey,
We've got 6 ratings there, so that's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah. No, you can check me out on Twitter at SequesterJ, on Instagram at the Sequester Jester, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I am on TikTok now at Sequester Jester. So yeah, enjoy. Pinhead.
I am on Facebook at James Crump. You can follow me there. You can follow me on Instagram at Pinhead198. I have a Twitter, but it's not set up yet, so we won't go there until another episode. So, go yeah.
Old man Jimmy on Instagram. JIMI. Yep. Figuring things out.
Cool.
All righty. Well, thank you guys again for listening and or watching. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, we appreciate it. We will see you again next time. And please make sure to, if you're subscribed to Apple Podcasts, or you're following us on Spotify, or wherever else you are listening to the show. We would love to hear from you guys and just see where you guys are listening to it from, whichever podcast platform, or perhaps you're watching it on YouTube and you have comments and thoughts about Wonder Woman 1984. Feel free to comment below.
Yes,
Alrighty.
yes.
Thank you guys for listening. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Peace out, fuckwits and fuckos.
Bye.